When it comes to open world racing games, there are three main titles to consider: The Crew 2 from Ubisoft, EA's Need for Speed Heat, and of course Forza Horizon 5 from Playground Games. While they all fall into the same genre, each game is rather different, all with their pros, cons, strengths and weaknesses, so in this video we're going to compare them to find out which game is best for you. First up is graphics, and it's fair to say that it's not much of a competition. Horizon 5 is significantly newer than the other two, and graphics have always been a big focus throughout the Forza series, so in most cases it just comes out miles ahead. There's so much more detail in the game's assets, whether that be the cars, environments or reflections, and the lighting is just on another level. Not only can photo mode shots from this game be indistinguishable from a real picture, but now also some of its video footage. It really is incredible how realistic it looks. Need for Speed Heat is then some margin behind. It's by no means a bad looking game. In fact, especially at night, it looks really good, just nowhere near as good as Horizon. The Crew 2 then trails even further behind this, as it just can't compete anymore. It's over 3 years old and that really shows. However, there's another very good reason for it: its map. The maps are a hugely important area for open world games, and this is where the Crew 2 stands out. Its map is a cleverly condensed construction of the entire of the USA, which could take you up to an hour to drive across depending on your vehicle. All this space has allowed the developers to incorporate virtually every biome and landscape you could imagine, from mountains to sand dunes, with everything in between of course. Hundreds of real life places and landmarks are included too, with the White House, Statue of Liberty, Grand Canyon and Golden Gate Bridge, just to name a few. Need for Speed Heat on the other hand has a much smaller map. It's a Miami-like city that actually reminded me a lot of the GTA 5 map, just smaller. Most of the map is taken up by the city, but there are some more rural areas which allow off-road racing. Compared to both the Crew 2 and Horizon 5, it feels like a more dense, crowded map, but one that's still full of detail. Forza Horizon 5's map is in between the other two. It's more expansive than Need for Speed, but just can't compete with the Crew 2, at least in terms of size. It does however still manage a huge amount of diversity within its landscapes though, to a point that it feels almost as varied as the Crew 2. It's set in rural Mexico, so there aren't any huge concrete cities, but there are larger towns, two types of desert, tropical rainforest and a volcano, something that as far as I know the Crew 2 does not have. Overall though, the maps are very different between titles, but each fits its own game's gameplay very well, which is what matters most, so let's take a look at that now. When it comes to gameplay, each title has the usual racing game stuff, plus a few more unique features that it brings to the table. For the Crew 2, its gameplay highlight is for sure its racing diversity. When you hear racing game, you'll probably just think about some form of car racing, however the Crew 2 also has types of racing on water and in the air. There are 4 racing families, each of which has many subdivisions from aerobatics to jet sprint and even Formula 1. The map facilitates all these events very effectively, with many well-crafted areas tailored to specific vehicle types. This combination makes the Crew 2 just in a complete league of its own when it comes to things to do, but also the amount of people it can appeal to. Exploration is also taken to another level by all these vehicle types, which by the way you can switch between very quickly like so. Need for Speed Heat diversified itself through its very good day-night system. Rather than a progressive daylight system like that in the Crew 2, Need for Speed Heat lets you choose when to switch between day and night, which is great as they offer very different experiences. In the daytime, all your racing is legal, and it's a relatively vanilla experience to be honest, your typical racing game stuff, until you switch to night. At night time, all your races are illegal, so you have the cops on your tail. If they see you during a race, they'll begin chasing you, and this will continue even after you cross the finish line. All of this is pretty good fun in itself, but the game really comes alive thanks to its Heat level system. This is effectively your wanted level, but it also acts as a multiplier to all the sweet XP you've been racing to earn. As you do more races, your Heat level increases, thus multiplying your earnings, but also increasing the number of police that will be after you. Oh, and if you get busted, you lose all of it, as well as any earnings you made from the day before. This leads to some insanely high pressure chases, which have honestly been the most thrilling moments I've ever had in a racing game. Now on to Forza Horizon 5, which stands out for being Forza I guess. It doesn't actually have any revolutionary features that straight away come to mind, but it's still an incredible game with a great map, insane graphics, massively improved sound, and a formula that just doesn't seem to get old. The multiplayer experience is also just miles above that of Need for Speed and the Crew 2, as well over 50 players can be in a map at the same time. This makes the game feel so much more real and alive, but it's also great for playing with friends too. Horizon 5 also has an extensive array of multiplayer options, from your normal races to abstract co-op modes and even Forza's Battle Royale mode, the Eliminator. New for Horizon 5 is also the Events Lab, effectively a massive toy box that anyone can use to make custom races and events. This has led to some really enjoyable gameplay that will only continue to get better and also change as the game gets older. This is very important because the multiplayer in both the Crew 2 and Need for Speed is adequate, but just kind of becomes the same old after a while. The way that players have been given the tools to create their own events in Forza, however, should avoid this issue, and I can tell you that it is a lot of fun trying out the stuff people have made, and it's only going to get better. Something else also just quickly worth mentioning is that both Need for Speed Heat and Horizon 5 can be played offline, whereas the Crew 2 sadly cannot. Need for Speed Heat is also fully cross-platform, which will definitely be an enticing feature for some, and Horizon 5 can of course be played between Xbox and PC players. With the Crew 2, even though it's on every platform, your friends will sadly need to be on the same one as you. Just something to be aware of. Now onto the cars and their customization options. Need for Speed Heat has the smallest car list by a very long way, with just 127 different models available. This is pretty disappointing, as both the Crew 2 and Horizon 5 have over 400 vehicle options. Now Need for Speed does at least make up for its lack of cars somewhat through their customization options. The visual customization for starters has a lot of very in-depth options, and I especially like how most body kit parts come in sets. Its performance customization is equally impressive, with ample options for all main components, which of course includes engine and gearbox swapping, and as you can imagine, this leads to some pretty crazy cars. Heat also has exhaust tuning, whereby you can change how your car sounds. 3 years ago this was pretty revolutionary, and while Horizon 5 does now have a similar feature, it's a really cool thing to have. The Crew 2, however, is a bit of a mixed bag, because while its physical customization is pretty good, its performance customization is not. The only way to make your car faster is to use a somewhat arbitrary part system, by which you just swap parts for ones you earn that basically just have a higher number on them. There's nothing else to it. It's not necessarily a terrible system, but for most people this is not nearly as enticing as engine swapping a Nissan 350Z. As I said before though, the visual customization is pretty good, with most cars having a ton of options to choose from. Something I will say though is that Need for Speed has much better options for very full-on customization, like the huge wide-body kits that completely change the look of the car, whereas the Crew 2 allows you to tweak finer details better. Similarly to Need for Speed, Horizon 5 really nails the customization. Like Heat, there are all the crazy engine mods and swaps available, as well as loads of body kit options. Unlike the other two games though, Horizon's physical customizations affect your performance as well as looks. This means that slapping on a huge rear wing is going to slow down your acceleration due to its weight and drag, but improve the car's cornering. I personally really like this feature, as customizing my car just feels more realistic and there's more depth to the experience. That said, some people may prefer to modify without consequence. Finally, we come to sound, and this is very subjective, so here's a quick sound comparison. Stick around for the conclusion. Overall, we have 3 very good racing games here. Hopefully this comparison has allowed you to make your mind up, but if not, then here's a quick overview. If you've got a PC or an Xbox, then I believe Forza Horizon 5 should be at the top of your list. Its graphics really make it an experience as well as a game, and that Horizon formula just doesn't get old. If you want more than just car racing, then look no further than the Crew 2. There's just so much to do and see thanks to its incredible map and huge vehicle selection and variety. If however you like the look of high stakes police chases and that underground street race vibe, then Need for Speed Heat is definitely the one to go for. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you have enjoyed it or found it useful, then a like or even a sub would be absolutely amazing. But that's everything, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.